For the next thing,
Okay, go for it.
that's awful lot.
We all do.
For the next thing, also from my original book, these are 10 years old, and we still run these in the store. These are unbelievable. Bride of Frankenstein. Now, I have to warn you, when I invented Bride of Frankenstein, it was so good that every night I took home a quart, every night, took home a quart and ate it watching TV. And of course, but not really, right? So this is Bride. The other one was Frankenstein, darker chocolate. This is Bride of Frankenstein, white, and white chocolate, and golden Oreos, or blonde Oreos, I call them. I don't know. So now, remember, what did we run in here before? Chocolate. Frankenstein. What was in the Frankenstein?
Chocolate.
Chocolate mix, chocolate chips, brownies, right? Now, I did let most of it run out. Do I have to rinse the machine now? No. No, of course not, because we're adding, first of all, these machines, I guess, I don't know if you know, the cylinder is canted 5 degrees. 5 degrees? Is canted 5 degrees. So when you extract product, you saw how fast it was, but that's only half the story. The other half is how complete it is. Yeah, there may be an errant chocolate chip in here, and there may be 3 ounces of chocolate mix in here, and maybe a few brownie crumbs. But is that going to matter with 10 quarts of white mix in it? No, won't matter at all. Okay? You can rinse if you want. Yes?
Does it have to do with, I mean, as far as personal preference, whether to rinse or not, or the time between you making?
Well, here's what I base it on. I base it on the inclusions. If I had run cherry vanilla before this, I would rinse it now, because I don't want cherries in my Bride of Frankenstein. Or mint. Mint is the ultimate rinse product. Every time you make mint chocolate chip ice cream, you've got to rinse the machine, because mint pervades other flavors, even a small amount. And I don't want mint in my next flavor. But when I'm planning my production for the day, as we did, right? We planned it in order. We set our cards in order of production. And Steve and I disagree on this. Steve says all the white ice cream and all the brown ice cream. That is of no consequence to me. What I care about are the inclusions. If something has chocolate chips, I don't want to run coconut next without rinsing, because in the coconut ice cream that people are eating, there's going to be what looks like a bug. It's only a chocolate chip, but I don't want anything disturbing the pure whiteness of it. So I would rinse, but I wouldn't make them in that order, because I'd rather have a stray piece of coconut in my other ice cream than a chocolate chip in a... Is that only me? Don't you all get these? That's not me.
No, it's everybody else is getting them.
See, I get it first, because they know I'm like Superman. All right, so we'll start. Now, by the way, this is interesting. Everybody has a grandmother. The grandmother made soup. When the grandmother made soup, she had the chickens, she had the onions, she had the leeks, she had the carrots, and everything she put into the pot. And the soup was then very good, right? It's the same thing with the ice cream. If you put good stuff in, even if it's not exactly as you envision, it's going to get good stuff out. It's just the nature of it. This is great. You can throw this in with nothing else and come out with decent vanilla ice cream. Not what I would sell, but decent homemade vanilla ice cream. So everything that you add to this, if it's of quality, is going to make a great ice cream. It only makes sense. Is this on?
Yeah.
All right, so the glaze over there. No, soft serve is, can I say crap on TV?
You can.
Okay, soft serve is crap. All right, So same thing, we're going to take this, confidently throw the lid away, grab the bottom, and in we go. And it's so nice to have a 24-quart machine here. So nice for you, you get to keep all the ice cream.
That's right. You bribe all my banks with it.
And you have a lot of them.
I do.
All right. So what we're going to add to Bride of Frankenstein, we're going to add white chocolate chips. Remember, Frankenstein was dark chocolate chips. This is Bride of Frankenstein, white chocolate chips. And we're going to add blonde Oreos instead of dark brownies with fudge on it. And then we're going to add secret ingredient that I can't tell you what it is. What? 25 cents and I'll whisper it to you. All right, so we're all set with this. This is Heath bar pieces. And you know what Heath, I mean, gee. Have you had Ben & Jerry's Heath bar crunch?
Yeah, yes.
Outstanding.
Yes.
Great ice cream. This is better though. All right, so we're ready to roll. Why can't I get it to... Full speed ahead, Captain. What? Yeah. White chocolate chips. Don't try this at home. I don't... Hang on. When I add chocolate chips, who asked me that? Oh, never mind. When I add chocolate chips to a batch, it's generally... No, I didn't. It's generally a quart. Like this is a quart of Heath bar pieces.
Now, since these are all solid pieces, they're not going to break up any further. They're going to stay at this consistency.
Give it a little crunch and a little flavor.
Yeah.
Oh,
If you took whole walnuts and threw them in, it would break them into quarters, which is where we want them. But whole walnuts are very expensive, so why not buy a 5-pound bag of walnut pieces and they won't break up any further? So we save money and we're still getting the good ingredients. The Oreo cookies will break up.
There's a cool method to adding cookies, like when I make Oreo or this. If you put them like this and skirt them down the front, they all go right down the gullet.
Now you're just playing with your food.
How many should we add?
All of it.
All of them. That's a good idea.
Now, just so I'm going to take one. Just so you can know how to make Oreo cookie ice cream, I take one 1-pound bag and throw it in the machine. That's my fruit flavor, or my Oreo cookie flavor. The second bag, while it's running, I just snap them between my thumbs, and I've got 4 pieces, and I throw that in a bucket. I do that with all of them. And then when the ice cream's coming out, the first box got pulverized. These pieces I'm going to shake in as it's coming out. So I've got my Oreo cookie flavor in the machine, and I've got my Oreo cookie identity. What is this in the ice cream? So you get the best of both worlds. Don't try that with a Cappuccini or a Taylor. Taylor's out of the business. Yeah, they went out of the batch freezer business 2.5 years ago.
They see, like, well, in Michigan, I think I saw like a buffet, Ponderosa. Make your own ice cream. On the machine, making ice cream. Serve it yourself.
Hey, Jeff.
Because of what he said, I'm holding back some, so every ice cream now will get a scoop of ice cream and a cookie. Hey, we spare no expense here. But I'll add a few more anyway.
It's just fun to do.
It is. It's very fun to do.
In the newer models, we're adding an electronic burp.
Okay, you had a question.
Feed me.
The heat bar pieces, did you ninja those?
The heat bar? No, I buy them in the bags like that. Restaurant Depot sells cookie pieces, Oreos in bags, 3-pound, 3 or 2.5-pound bags of broken up Oreos, which is the greatest thing for when they sat around the table at Oreo. We have all this mess here, all this broken cookies and everything. What should we do with them? Put them in bags and sell them at big bulk stores.
If your space is limited,
What?
if your space is limited, would you go for a walk-in fridge or a walk-in freezer? You can only do one of the
Why don't you answer that? Huh? You answer that.
I mean, it's
A walk-in freezer or what?
or a walk-in fridge. You can only
Okay.
do one of the two.
They're both at the end of my driveway now, waiting for the dumpster people to throw them away, because you don't need either one. No matter how much space you have.
Fighting over this since 2000.
No matter how much space you have, waste of money. Waste of money. You don't need.
He's open from 6 until 10 and doesn't let children
I could
in.
be open 24/7 and I wouldn't have them.
Just make sure on the map, the bladder is 10 quarts.
Yes, and it makes 20 quarts of ice cream.
Should be able to freeze it.
It doubles. A bladder doubles.
That's why we're putting 10 quarts in the 20 quart capacity.
Yes. Now, if you want a heavier ice cream, we have a setting that says super premium, which slows it down and it will give you less air. You can slow it down even further to the gelato setting or the frozen custard, and it becomes very, very dense, just like Haagen-Dazs. But your costs have to go up appreciably.
Daniel, understand that I'm in business primarily to make money. That's my primary goal, is to make money. To maximize how much money I'm making, if you spend that much, you're breaking even. The less you spend, the more you make. So useless equipment, a 16 tub dipping cabinet with a sneeze guard on it. Don't buy it. You don't need it. It's a waste of money.
Okay, now I will counter and say, do the math. There are probably 1,000 people who have listened to Jeff over the years and are Jeff's way. I have 37,000 people who are doing it with hardening cabinets and dipping cabinets. There is no wrong way to sell ice cream. You have to see what's right for you. And I say it depends on the location and how the ice cream's being sold. He has a rush from 6 until 10, and that's it. Your ice cream parlor is probably going to be 11 a.m. till 10 p.m. And it's a whole different ball game of handling the ice cream. There's no wrong answer, except his is different from the vast majority of people. Doesn't make it wrong, just makes it different.
I'll tell you what. Give me one reason, just one, why they should have a 16-tub display sneeze-guarded dipping case. Give me one.
Okay, if you catch the flu and are out for a week, you're out of business.
What?
You don't have any inventory.
What are you talking about?
You can't
No, we're
make-
talking about a dipping cabinet.
I know, and you're making ice cream all day long, because with that dipping cabinet also goes the hardening cabinet, where I'm making ice cream on Tuesday to last me until Saturday.
I make
You don't
300. I make 300 gallons a week in one day.
I know, but if you weren't there to make the 300 gallons for the week, you had to close the doors
Why?
because there's nobody else to.
Because I don't have an
Because
inventory.
you don't have an inventory.
I got freezers with ice cream up the wazoo.
Okay, you don't have enough
Up the
inventory.
wazoo.
Well, we've been talking this one since 2007.
But as far
do
as
your
the-
homework, pick the location that you're doing, and see what's right for you. That's the best way to say it.
Let me ask you this question.
Not the
Both of
same
you guys.
one.
If you're doing a big, we do a lot of big festivals.
Yeah.
You do a big festival, and you only got like 4 or 6 tubs, you're gonna run out fast.
Right.
And do it. So don't you think you should have a bigger unit?
Yes.
Or have a van with a compressor in
We
it
got
with
that.
another
I'm just
freezer.
saying- Just say, people like to move fast. You know, if they not, you don't have it, they gonna walk away. So what I try to do, I try to have it right there so they can have it. Like I'd rather have 2 vanillas right there with me, or 2 whatever with me.
Absolutely.
So I can have it right on stock, so when
I know,
I even
of
buy it,
course.
I can give it to them. So
Of
you
course.
have to have a bigger unit to sell. Right?
Sure.
You want it.
What? What?
How's that ice cream coming? How about them Yankees? You'd think we'd get tired of doing this, wouldn't you? And there was one year he flattened my tires. There was a year I shot at him. But we get along. What were we compared to? That was pretty insulting. Mutton Jeff? Was it?
No.
Yeah, that too. Nobody knows what the Bickersons are.
Autographed him.
$5.
Autographed
Of
him.
course he will.
I'm nobody.
Yes, you are. You are why we're here.
Whatever
Uh-huh,
he charges for an autograph, I'll do it half price.
That 44-quart machine, I'm why they're here.
Are we paying attention to our ice cream?
Yeah.
Do you see how great this is? Everything's shaking, and the shelf is holding in place.
Again, my bladders. Preston? I'll have to call you back. What's the latest I can call you? I'll call you in about a half hour. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Jeff, if you're having so much trouble with your bladders, you might want to try salt palmetto.
Oh, this is good.
Yes, it will work in this. You just divide them down. You've got the 6-quart, the big one. Yeah, it'll work.
Unbelievable.
It depends on the size of it. These used to come in 5-gallon.
Okay, mine is a 6-quart.
6-quart. Well, you only want to put with salt and ice. I'd say 3.5 quarts of liquid in.
Okay.
So just make my full batch and pour in what you need.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the same ice cream, only you'll have larger ice crystals because you're freezing in 40 minutes, we're freezing in 8 minutes. But that's the only difference. The taste will be there.
Yeah, but I understand.
What?
I know, I will buy one, but it has to
That's you're selling used machines in my store?
No, I said I know a guy who could sell you one of those, pointing to you.
Oh, thank you. Any real questions?
Any questions back there?
No, they're busy talking to themselves.
Yeah.
Any questions? No?
Daniel? Daniel?
How many people are planning to go into the ISIS business?
Into the what?
ISIS.
Ices?
Italian ISIS. Okay. And
thought
the
you
rest
meant
are
ISIS.
ice cream? The rest ice cream? Okay.
Yeah, careful how you phrase that. Go into the ISIS business.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, we also sell Sam's.
AK-47s in that room. We're good.
Oh, I have some things to show you. I have show and tell. This one you've seen before if you've watched the videos. This is a It holds a tub. You freeze this down, and it's got some kind of glycol solution in here, so you freeze it, and it'll stay frozen for hours. So you can, if you're running a push cart, you can just drop your tub right in there, and that works very well. You can get about 3 or 4 hours out of that. It's made by Carlisle, but you can find it anywhere. They're about $87 for each one. A customer called me up, and he said, you got to try these. These come in different sizes. Let's see who makes this. Arctic Ice, A-R-T-I-C, Ice. The Tundra series. They have about 4 different ones. This one doesn't freeze solid until I think it's -5 degrees. So if ice, of course, freezes and melts at 32 degrees. So if you had 4 of these in a cooler, 1, 2, 3, 4, he says you can keep your ice easily for 4 or 5 hours at a trade show, a fair, push cart type deal. Because freezing at -5, it's going to thaw much, much slower. So Paula was saying, what good is this for my daily lunch to bring, because our freezer only goes to 0. Well, it's still going to thaw a lot slower. But if you had a chest freezer at -10, this is an inexpensive way. This is the Tundra version of the Arctic Ice. You can get these at Amazon. The price at Amazon is about $1 cheaper than buying direct from the company. But if you're buying in quantity, you could try talking to them. But we've been using these for a couple of weeks, and I think they're great. This is one of the smaller ones. This will just fit. People don't know how to pack a cooler. They put the ice on the bottom and all the food on top. Wrong. Cold air falls. Put the food and the sodas in the bottom, and then lay this on top, and all the cold is dropping down like that. And it does a nice job. So something new besides doing it this way for your Italian ice push cart. Here we go. It looks good, and it doesn't look like any residue that was left in the machine had any effect on the ice cream color.
It won't.
Because there wasn't enough left in there.
Okay.
Delish.
Covers. You don't want to try this, do you? Okay. Okay, let's give it a shot.
Come on out. Come on. Not exactly, no, because gelato is basically ice cream with different flavoring. It's a lower fat, so it's ice cream, and it's different flavors. It's tiramisu, fruit of Tabasco. We're making pumpkin and Frankenstein. You could call this Frankenstein gelato if you wanted to. There wouldn't be any difference.
I want to get those 3 compartment things that you have, that divider and the 2 one. Can I get that from you, both of them today?
I don't know if we have them for today, but I'll find out for you. Otherwise, we can send them to you.
They won't tell me this, but the mommies, that's when you said dairy-free.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I could get some of that so I could see the difference between that and the mommies. Is it really dairy-free?
Yeah, it's coconut. It's coconut milk, cream of coconut, sugar, and that's it. You can formulate it yourself. I used to, but mine used to ice up, so I buy the mommies or mammies. It's M-A-M-I-S. She now also calls it Froco Nut.
It won't work in this. I called her and asked. She says, no, it'll work
Yes.
in batch freezer, but it won't work in this.
That's a batch freezer. That thing is,
It won't work in that.
it may not get cold enough. Can you do Italian ice?
I think I can, yeah.
If you can do Italian ice, you can do the mommies.
Steve, you agree with that with the walk-in freezer?
Yeah.
You don't need one.
Oh, I think, of course you do. Yeah. Because it's all dependent on volume. Jeff's making ice cream to sell ice cream from 6 until 10. You're making ice cream to sell maybe 3 times as many people, and so you've got to have 3 times as much ice cream. So your walk-in is your inventory. I would love to have a walk-in, because not only would I keep my frozen ice cream in there, I'd buy 50-pound bags of walnuts because the price is better, and I'd keep them in that freezer for months and pull them out as I need it. I'd keep everything in there. A walk-in would be great. A walk-in is just, those are hardening cabinets over there that I built for myself. And they're energy guzzlers to keep the temperature. And with the commercial ones, every time you open the door, all the cold's falling out. And what makes it a hardening cabinet, flash freezer, or blast freezer is they're designed, if you take just a true cabinet and set it to 20 below and load it up with all this warm ice cream, the temperature's going to skyrocket up. With a hardening cabinet, it will, or a walk-in, it's going to stay cold.